Again, in the first session, we kind of talked about hands that we want to be choosing to target the fish with, and hands like 8-9, 5-6, deuce-3, 7-9 suited are not going to really be our friends for targeting players like these, just simply because they don't hesitate to play hands that dominate those. King-9 offsuit does not scare them. They will play that hand, and we get ourselves into a lot of top pair trouble. So the main strategy I was recommending in Part 1 was to really just play hands that flop top pair, and you can take advantage of that. On Table 1, I don't know that I'm particularly wild about the line that was taken where he checked the flop and then check-called the turn and then check-folded the river. It's just kind of a messy all-around play, where I think with as many outs as we had and the range of our opponent, I think just betting that flop would have been much better. We get raised on Table 2, somewhat peculiar situation. And real quickly, let me go ahead and pause the video and talk about this situation where when we have a player... Well, and I thought I paused it. Let's see if I can actually pause it. No, I can't actually pause it. Okay, there we go. Where when we have a player like a 53-9 getting aggressive, that's going to be a spot where we want to really hit the ground running. And this is kind of another topic that I kind of touched on in the first session, where with these kind of gapper players who play a really passive style of play, you don't want to be, basically you want to be value betting very thinly, but when they push back, you want to be continuing basically only with the nuts or damn close. And so in this spot, I think it's perfectly correct to lay down the 9. I don't think that it's ever going to be good, considering that this player seems to not be interested in putting in money himself. He seems to be much more interested in calling down when he has a somewhat speculative hand. If he were to have, say, an ace high here, I think he would be much more likely to just call down. On Table 1, the last hand, our hero folded an ace-8 in the small blind against the dangers open from the cutoff. I think that's probably a bit nitty. I probably am just going to call there and play out of position, and I still think it's going to be profitable to play out of position with a hand like ace-8, just simply because our opponent is playing such an outrageously wide range that if we do manage to flop a top pair or a medium strength hand or a 2 pair, something like that, we stand to make a lot of money that's well worth, in my opinion, playing the 3 big blinds out of position. So I think that our hero strategy in this spot against these fish seems to be, I guess he's adjusting certainly, but I don't necessarily think he's adjusting enough. And like when you have such outrageous fish, I think you should be taking every single step you can to play pots with them with basically any real edge you could have. Hands, like I said, that are capable of flopping top pair and we're feeling comfortable with. And a hand like ace-8 would normally be pretty bad against a normal opening range just because we'd never really know where we were. But against a player like Danger 067 who finds such an outrageous range of hands worthy of being played, and even being played aggressively since his open is 24. And we unfortunately don't know what his steal is, but I imagine it's actually probably relatively high, simply considering he seems to want to play as many pots as he can. So I think a hand like ace-8 should be in our playing range against this player, and I think that, like I said, I think our hero is not quite adjusting enough in these spots to take advantage of the free money floating around in these pots. So I think that I would be opening a wider range and calling a wider range when danger is involved in the pot, as well as when Therpy is involved or when Bajel is involved on Table 3. So these 3 players are basically, for lack of a better way to put it, probably just blazing red targets, where I will want to really be just going after these guys and playing as many pots with these guys as I can, because what they're going to basically giving away free money. Ace-3, I don't mind the fold. It's closer though, especially with a min raise. Like I don't think I would crucify him if he did call, but I really don't necessarily think it's a great idea to play a hand in this position with 3 players left to act. First, because our player's opening in early position, which granted, maybe he's completely unpositionally aware. Unfortunately, we have not popped the pop-up open on him to see his raise first. Again, perhaps I'll reference back to another video that I have done on the importance of talking about the Hold'em manager's raise first, where I think that it gives you such an amazing gauge of players' ranges in places that you'd obviously want players' ranges.